Yeah.
Go the same route.
Somewhat.
I mean,
Somewhat.
you guys, they see towards the UP, brings us through.
She said she didn't.
What's the plan for the game plan?
Yeah.
I know, I was thinking about this, but like-
There is a new owner, he needs to know it's on him now, because it runs with the property, not person.
I wasn't sure.
I mean, I'm not a person.
No.
We're just here for support.
Our revenue is for the
Yeah, I think so.
property, so it stays with the land.
Yeah.
That's all we can do.
That's-
Yeah.
Right.
I think we do.
I think we should stick with it.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. With dollar estimates prior to the council. I just say if possible. I think we should do that.
Well, it's 6 o'clock. Welcome to 2024, our first commissioner meeting of the year. Hope everybody had a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And it's still not aching in your bones and your head. So, there are Title VI forms on the back table. If you care to fill one of those out, you can turn it in at the auditor's office. If everybody'd stand, I'd like to ask Brad to lead us in the pledge, followed by prayer with order.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Join me in prayer, please. Father God, we thank you for this opportunity to gather together and ask for a blessing on the men and women who give of their time, their talents, and their experience to make this place a better place to live. Pray for your vision, pray for clarity, and in those cases where we disagree, that we can do it without being disagreeable, and that we all know that we are in this for each other, to build a better place. In your name we pray, and we ask your blessing on this meeting.
Amen. Thank you, John. You saw the minutes, any corrections, additions?
I didn't have anything. I'd move to approve.
Second.
Concur. Claims, any questions on the claims?
Do we need to approve the executive session meeting minutes, or is that going to be next time?
Which, the executive meeting minutes.
We saw them, I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
We saw them. Want to make a motion to approve those?
I'd make the motion to approve the executive session meeting that we had on the minutes from that from December 28, 2023.
One second.
Concur. Now claims. Any questions on those?
I'd move to approve.
Second.
Concur. Payroll.
Move to approve payroll.
One second.
First up is Todd Highway Department.
Good evening. Highway Department. I've got worked on the quarterly reports that need to be submitted to NDOT. Got them completed today, so we can stay in compliance with everything we got going on. Tim gave me his information on community crossing grant 2024. I'll be working on that, try and get that in and open up today at 8, and it closes the 31st at 5 p.m. So I hope to get that done in the next couple of days. What we're actually submitting for, because they raised that grant to $1,500,000, it'd be about 83 miles of roads, chip and seal. So I think that'll be a great impact. I've got some scoring being done on countywide bridge inspection, still waiting on one to come in. Then I'll follow a procedure with the bridge inspection. Right now, most of my guys are out there in small groups working on tasks at the new highway department. Shelving, racking, monitors, adjusting furniture, just trying to get ready for us to move. Our goal date to be in there and operating is going to be the 22nd of this month. Is our goal. If we fall short of that, at least we have another week. But our goal is to be in there and operating by the 22nd. That's all I got to report from the highway department. You guys have anything for me?
1200 south. Road goes from right above Sardinia to Alert. I don't know if you know where Troy Hill, you guys replaced the culvert in there. It's pretty rough, needs some attention. It wasn't on the road cut list, but I saw Troy today and I got a call last week about it.
Okay.
It's a head jar, needs to have some attention for spring. So,
1200 south.
1200 south, just west of, a half mile off Highway 3 there, Sardinia.
Okay.
So just want to kind of keep in the thought process. We talked earlier this year about setbacks off the stop signs for visuals and doing some kind of ordinance or setup with that. So if we're going to try to do something with that this year, doing it before planting season, if it's something that we're still thinking about doing.
What's that now?
Or pull up to a stop sign you can't see before you pull out on the county road once the stuff's grown. We've talked about doing research on setbacks for that to create potentially an ordinance to keep that back so that we're not out just mowing down farmers' fields for the setups.
Keep line of sight.
Right. We just need some kind of recommendation on that for potential ordinance.
Okay.
And what was the other one we were just talking about? Oh, the step off, the 3-inch, an idea what we're going to do on our road paving drop offs on the side of the roads. Recommendation from you guys on how we need to proceed.
A recommendation would be, number one, there's not enough funding in the highway budget. So as far as stone, we get about, I think we put in $350,000. Anything, that would be something I think that you guys in the council would have to agree on some kind of number, how we're going to pay for it. So, and how we want to address it from here going forward. We're doing chip and seal this next year, so it won't impact that. But what we got awarded for in 2023, we paid this spring or summer. And how we want to try to impact it. I know we've been working on 700, 350. It's some spotting on 500. 500 really needs, like I said, that road's 20 foot wide. There's some drop off on that, but a lot of that's going to fall right in the ditch. So I don't know what we're going to do about it, but I know I haven't had any, we haven't had any reports of anybody going off on 500. Seems like most of the reports have been on 700.
I think one was on 350 and I had a couple on 700. The ones that I got.
Yeah.
300.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's right. About 300.
So, Tim and I have talked back and forth, but like I said, it ultimately comes to money.
Chairman, I think asked the question, is there something we can do before we pave the road to reduce the ground, whether it's taking off the top layer to perform the correction before we add the asphalt, or is there something like that?
Normally what we do before we pave a road, the very first thing we do is go out there and kill the grass, okay, the vegetation. And then we take the road grader down through there, and any spots that are higher, we actually just knock them off a little bit, okay?
Talking about a gravel road now?
Not a gravel road,
Okay. On
a
asphalt.
paved road.
Okay.
Okay, so we actually have to go out there semi-berm, you may say, but we're only going out about a foot. Just number one, to make sure we can get the road if we want. So we don't really gouge a bunch, we just try to make it simple, take as little as possible to do that. So that's what we do prior to that. As far as the paving crew, they go out, they wedge the road to get the road profile back, and then they lay the asphalt.
So explain what wedging the road means.
Wedging the road is whenever you're taking your paver down the road, you're setting the road profile to get the 2% and puts a real thin coat, blacktop in the areas that need to be corrected. Okay. After that, then they come back and they lay 1.5 inch overlay. Some areas require more than that because the road profile is out. Okay, and that's what we're trying to get back. That's why sometimes you end up with a bigger drop off, because, you know, for the most part.
So the only solution is more gravel.
Well, you need more gravel. Okay, do you want us to look for a road widener, which is to lay the stone, we need an offset roller to pack it. So I mean, there's quite a bit of cost to doing that. Okay, where do you contract that out?
Like I said, I know from the last meeting we talked about it, there's been a lot of phone calls, and I don't have an argument with a 6 inch or 7 inch drop off on the edge that I'm overly willing to present as the solution to that.
Well, I think we need to get some numbers together to either get bids on what it would cost. If you do it per ton, road widening, just sub it out, or, you know, Mark could use Shelby Counties. They let us use it for free a couple of years.
So I know down there, I want to say it's 1100 south in Shelby County. When they did the same thing, they've had issues there as well with cars going off the road. And I was actually working there, and they actually had a fatality where somebody hit a telephone pole, where they got sucked down in the ditch with a telephone pole. And so they've had the same issues that we have. It's not like this is unique here. It's
Right.
This is part of the grant process where they give you money only for this specific thing. You can only handle it in certain ways. But I know that they would have, I think, the ability to give you some more guidance on how they've handled it, because they have the same exact issue there. And in certain places they haven't. Like, you just flat can't go off the road in certain areas. Going across 1100, it turns into 252. Over. So, it might be worth a phone call there.
Yeah, we do a little homework on that.
I'll contact the couple of the other counties, Shelby County, I think Rush County. I think they basically do
Rush County doesn't do any hot mix overlays.
no, they do.
They got it all chicken seed.
Raider. Yeah. So I can reach out to Shelby County.
Anything else for Todd?
I don't have it. Thanks, Todd.
Kenny? Good evening, John.
I got nothing. Since our last meeting, I had 30 building inspections, 8 new permits and plan reviews, 2 permit renewals. Had 1 complaint of extensive work being done with no permit. Upon visiting the property, I saw that they were replacing windows and doors, removing box gutters and re-roofing, all new drip board fire wrappers, new soffit fascias, or basically bringing the house back, house wrap and vinyl siding, but there's no permit required for that. Today I contacted the property owner of the house in Letts, to try to see what his plans were. He says he's transferring the title today to the neighbor to the east of that property. I wasn't sure. I need to talk to Chad about it. He said that the abatement would go to whoever owns the property. Is that correct?
That's.
So now I'm gonna have to find out if that guy's got the title recorded and give him a copy of the letter so he can see what's.
Give him the good news.
Yeah, here's the good news. You kind of wormed out of that. So I wasn't sure what to do. That's all I've got.
Anything on the Smith residence for cost to take care of that?
No, I did not.
We need to move forward on that. That's, was abated over a month ago.
So, yeah, we just need to get somebody in there to do the work. We're all set from the court side.
Once we know the money cost, then we gotta find the money, so can't just sit on it. We've gotta figure out what needs to be moved and get somebody to give us some kind of estimate to do that. So then we can talk about how to pay for it.
Do you have a list of?
I would recommend the guy he did like McCoy. I don't know if they, because she took kids there, I guess, and he was the lowest one.
Can he move cars and dump trucks? Did we confirm? Because 3 of those trucks got moved to a different person's property, so
Yeah.
have we contacted them to find out?
To find out who owns those properties, I need to do that.
And then I think we would need a list of what actually needs moved out of there.
Yeah, I gave
So
you the
that we-
pictures of the 4 trucks that are still.
Yeah.
Need to be removed.
Like that's the information that we would have to give when we would be requesting a
Yeah,
bid.
yeah, we need a scope of work. What do we want them to go do? What's the level of the job? What are they required to do? And then we get the money for that, and then we can request it. But we need to do that sooner rather than later.
Okay.
We're going on 7 months with this now.
Anything else, Kenny?
Thank you, Kenny.
Thanks, guys.
Krista?
Good evening, gentlemen. I sent you today a very lengthy document, and lots of technical aspect to it. So I was hoping that we could vote on it and get it passed, but I think that we all should read it very closely. And if you would like, I could ask the person who helped write it, Carrie Daly with Christopher Burke Engineering, to come to the next commissioners meeting so that you can ask any questions that you may have. It's pretty in-depth, and as far as the technical standards, a lot of it's over my head, so.
I would like that. I'd like to have that person that has that expertise here, just to kind of give us a little bit of background for what the stormwater requirements are going to be and why they are set the way they are.
And it's a pretty standard document. It was, it's used across the state pretty widely, but there are a few tweaks here and there for everybody, so I will ask him. I have asked him, and he said he could attend one of the next meetings, and we'll
It'll
go
be
on from there.
16th, Tuesday also, because of Martin Luther King. It'll be an AM meeting.
All right. Do you have anything for me?
I don't.
Thank you.
Sheriff?
Good evening and happy new year as well. Item number 1, I'm asking to sell 2 vehicles. 2016 Dodge Charger, it's got 141,000 miles. Last 6 on the VIN are 286737. Also a 2017 Tahoe, 151,000 miles. Last 6 on the VIN are 283291. And the maintenance costs are just up, it's time to rotate them out. I'm asking for authorization to sell those 2 vehicles.
I don't have any issue with it.
No, either.
Janet, the money that bought those, where did it originate from?
I would have to check, I assume, Decatur, I don't
You,
know.
you
I
probably
do not know.
That money would need to go back to the fund.
It has to go back to the
Okay.
state.
Need a motion?
I'd make the motion to authorize the sheriff to go ahead and sell those 2 vehicles.
Second.
I'll concur.
Thank you. Item number 2, our jail credit card limit is $2,000. About 3 or 4 months ago, we were running short on bread products for the inmates' meals. We ran to Aldi's. We discovered we could buy our bread products cheaper at Aldi's rather than through Trinity. So we set up a plan now where we're buying our bread products from Aldi's. We're spending anywhere from $1,200 to $1,300 a month. That does go on our credit card. And the problem is our limit's only $2,000. With other purchases, we're sometimes hitting our limit, not being able to pay off this bread bill. So I'm asking to raise that limit to $4,000. Savings on this is about $19,000 a year is what we're going to figure. But it's well worth us buying our bread products from Aldi's rather than through Trinity. And we just want to be able to purchase that with our credit cards. We're paying the bills off. It's just a cycle of it.
And you know that Aldi's will be able to continue to supply you with your.
Yes, we've entered into a verbal agreement, if you will. So yeah, we've been buying our bread products for the last 3 or 4 months from them.
So they're prepared for your.
Yes, they are. Yeah, they are. It's worked out very well. Our maintenance guy has been going to Aldi's and picking it up for us twice a week, and it's worked out well. And again, it saves about $2,000 a year to pull for it.
As far as raising the credit card limit, do you know the 4,000? The credit card company's already said yes, 4,000 is fine, or is that something that you still have to request?
We have to request that. You want to get approval here first.
It's from our
First-
side.
first
We have
financial.
one amount that all these departments fall under. So we cannot exceed that amount.
Okay, I understand. I don't have an issue with proceeding that way, saving money in the long run there, so. You guys? I'd go ahead and make the motion to allow you to pursue raising your credit card limit to 4,000.
Okay, thank you. Just a real couple of pieces of information real quick. I did lay out the commissary report from July 1st till the end of last year for your review. And then second of all, we applied for a couple of grants to purchase a Polaris Ranger. We do not have one. We did get $1,000 from REMC. The second grant we applied for, we were not getting any money. However, we approached County TIF Board, and they agreed to purchase one for us in the amount of $36,898. So again, we've now got a Polaris Ranger ordered, paid for. It should be here in the next couple weeks. Just information on them. Thank you very
And
much.
you'll want the commissioners to ensure that, I'm sure.
Yes, yeah. It's gonna be registered in the commissioner's office. That's why I'm advising you now.
That's out his budget, right?
I don't think insurance comes out of his budget.
Thank you.
Thank you for the work you do. Keeping us safe.
We're trying.
Teresa?
Thanks.
Thank you.
Good evening. First of all, I'm here because the pool committee met on Friday, December the 15th at EDC to conduct interviews with 3 construction firms that submitted proposals or qualifications for the pool project. The committee members who participated in the interviews were Deanna Burkhart, Jess Barker, Tammy Winning, Jenny Hanna, Erica Gunn, Tony Blodgett, and myself. The 3 interested firms included Maxwell Construction, R.L. Turner, and Meyer Nagin. So the committee members were given the form that I just gave to you, the contractor evaluation form, and they were given one for each firm on which we voted, or not voted, but scored each applicant firm on a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being the lowest and 5 being the highest, based on how they met certain criteria. The criteria list included past similar projects that they had done, willingness or ability to respond to changes, ability to meet the timelines, creativity in solving issues, staying within or under budget, timeline standards for responding to our questions, communication plans for updates, as well as ability to use preferred vendors. The committee came together again on December 27th for discussion of the interviews and to tally the evaluation score sheets. Although we all agreed that all three firms were capable to complete our project, the firm scoring the highest and the firm that we as a committee are recommending that you select for our project is R.L. Turner. We felt that they had more focus on pools, specifically outdoor pools and aquatic facilities. R.L. Turner is the current contractor working on the new pool in Madison. We reached out to the president of the park board there, and she spoke highly of them and stated, I absolutely wouldn't hesitate to hire them again, and said that their experience stood out above everybody else. Other things she mentioned that they have a live on-site camera. They're ahead of schedule on their project. They've been very quick to respond to any of their questions or issues. They met with various groups as needed to explain the project, and she felt they truly listened and responded to their concerns. If selected, R.L. Turner is offered to sit down with the county and come up with some different cost proposals. In order for us to move forward with cost estimates in time for the next council meeting, I'm here to ask for you to vote on this evening if at all possible. If not, if it can't be voted on tonight, then it'll just back up our process, but we'll proceed how you see fit. Do you have any specific questions?
Can you explain the scoring system a little bit for me? Like how 25, 20, what exactly were the different points and why were they awarded in the way that they were?
Okay, we each have, like I said, each one of us in attendance of the interviews got a score sheet. And we listened to their presentation. We have reviewed the presentations that I had sent to you as well. And we were asked as a group to score them on a scale of 1 to 5. It was basically just based on our each individual perception of what we thought that this firm was capable to do or how they presented themselves. There were different things as far as R.L. Turner, for instance, has 50 to 60 people on staff, so that if the project were to get behind in any way, shape, or form, they have also people who can come in and take care of the job themselves. They have contractors, they have concrete workers, they have people on their staff that can help keep that project moving along and not totally relying upon outside vendors, contractors, that kind of thing, subcontractors. So each of us there, the ones that I named, we all added that up, scored them how we felt like, and then we just tallied those votes.
Teresa, do you have a copy of the score sheet? I think that's what Jeremy's.
Well, I was curious because
they're weighted correctly. I mean, your answers are weighted on the score sheet.
Yes.
Probably. I have to say that Brian, who is under the weather tonight, couldn't be here with me. He compiled all this into the spreadsheet that I just gave you. And he's also got each individual score sheets that we completed.
Yeah, I was just curious because with the 5 points, I had counted that there were 7 different people that were down there for the presentation.
My numbers aren't in there.
In attendance, that's why, because the numbers weren't adding up to for like the 25 or whatever.
Tony wasn't there the entire time due to a personal matter, so he left before we scored all of them, but I'm not even sure if your scores were in there at all yet. I don't know if you scored because when you had to.
Yeah, I left that in. I took my score sheet with me.
Oh, okay, well, then that's a question.
I took my games and left.
It's a secret.
Yeah, I had to leave halfway through R.L. Turner, so I wasn't able to listen to all of them, but I did listen to the majority of R.L. Turner or Maxwell.
So there's no financial obligation on our part at this time to go with R.L. Turner? This is my question.
No.
It's just it's a contractor you're choosing.
It's a BOT process, so the BOT and the design teams were the same in all three. The only differences were the contractors between them. So once we picked the BOT group and we talk about design, I think HWC architects, so we get to the point where we can do a bid. I think that cost was 35,000.
35. I think yours
But
was
that's
yeah.
flexible too, because that included like feedback sessions and things like that we can discuss whether we
So
can
that
decide
would
how
be the
many
next
we wanted
money
to do.
stage, is to pay for that, so we can get to real numbers, find out the budget. But there's no requirement to use anybody if we choose not to do the project next month or the month after. No harm, no foul. We're not obligated to pay.
And we did make a point to ask all of the contractors as we interviewed them, tell them that we would be on a quick turn time should we choose one. Could they get us at least a high level estimate of numbers prior to the council meeting? And they agreed that they would be able to do that.
Well, at some point, you gotta pick a contractor, and that's where
My view on it is if you are the ones that have interviewed, have talked with these people, these were the requirements that you want, that I need to have faith in. This is your vision. This is what you guys want. And you're the ones that are driving this ship. And so if these are the things that you found to be important, I need to trust that. So I would support you going with R.L. Turner.
Yeah, I think it's only 10 points top to bottom, from the best to the worst. That's pretty
And it was
close.
basically their expertise and experience with dealing with outdoor pools, facilities like ours. And where all of them do pools, a lot of them focus more on indoor aquatics or natatorium. They had great presentation, but it wasn't necessarily as much as that particular firm, R.L. Turner, had in regard to outdoor facilities.
Anything, Tony?
Pleasure.
Anything else? I'd move to approve. Go ahead and R.L. Turner, start working with them for the pool.
1 second.
I would agree.
And the only other thing is, in the past, there's been some people commenting that they hadn't seen the concept drawing of the pool. So I do have it with me tonight if should anybody want to look at it, keeping in mind that it's just a conceptual design. It's not anything set in stone by any means, or even what we may, find ourselves with at the end. So it is here if you want to see it. I'd be more happy to show it to you.
We have a copy of what you did.
I have an extra one.
Okay. You need it?
I have one. You can have two. I mean, you can have also whatever. You can have two. I have two. Thank you.
Thanks, Teresa.
Uh-huh.
Stair lift quotes, Patty. How about you?
Okay. As you probably remember, we are working on a modernization of our elevator here. So when we go through that process, of course, we won't have an elevator here. Our backup plan is going to be stair lift. So I have gotten quotes on stair lifts. The stair lifts we plan to keep in place anyway when we're done, because anytime the elevator is down, and we also have a backup to get people from upstairs down. So there are 4 companies that were approached. There were more than that, but some of them did not want to tackle our project, or they didn't do commercial. So basically we had 4 companies bidding. I've given you all copies of the quotes there. So one was very high at $64,670, so they were ruled out. Lifeway Mobility was $25,219, which will be in comparison and how the others were quoted. AmeriGlide came in low at $17,032, but I want to let you know that that company is not a local company. They do not have a storefront. So there's really no place to go for support or customer service if you need it. They basically order and drop the equipment, and then you get a local contractor. So that's why that's cheaper. That also did not include any permit fees, which the other company included.
So 17,000 does not include the install for AmeriGlide?
Paraglide,
The one that just has the drop.
no, it does not. Does not. So Access Mobility or Access Elevator, as they're known, is out of Indy on the south side. Their quote is $21,997.50. That does include the permits that we need, and they are also taking care of that permit for the next year also. And that was a price increase, but they'll honor this price for 60 days. So, and again, this is on 3 staircases that we will have, the stair lifts. So they have agreed to our terms of 25% down. So they originally like 50, but they met us at the 25. Like I said, they're close. Good support. Any other questions you might have?
I did meet with that company, the rep here. They do stuff in Rushville, Columbus, North Vernon, so they're with the area.
Yeah,
Service,
service.
they work in the
I
area.
did check on the references also.
So the 2 rails, 2 chairs, and being chair rails up to the landing, and then move over to the other rail and go up. That's the 2 rails, 2
We
chairs.
have to have a wheelchair on that landing.
Yeah, they advised us to have a wheelchair.
Or whatever we
just in
need from
case.
one side to the other. Okay. That's the price difference between 1 rail and 2. 1 rail goes up, across, and then up again, they never get out. The 2 rails cheaper in places because it's 1 to the landing and 1 up. Okay.
And that price with Access Mobility includes the installation, correct?
Yes.
Minus the what?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's the other,
we have
all
to-
of them we would have to add electric, and we're supposed to take care of that. We have the specs, we know the scope of work, what needs to be done there, and have talked to our local electrician about getting that taken
And
care of.
all that consists of is a actual surface mount plug. It's 110, they just have cord that plugs in, so that's what the electricians have. They have to be a separate circuit for
And
each
then-
landing.
Yeah, and then all the chairs do have a battery backup also. That's included.
Do you know if we got space in the boxes for that? I'm sure we do.
Yeah, I was here with him.
It's a strange question to ask, but
Yeah,
I've run into stuff and it's like, well, it's great. Now you got to upgrade your box to add 2 dedicated circuits. Okay.
If you're in agreement with that, I do have the proposal and the contract for that. And it does have a 2-year warranty.
Are we still waiting on more bids for the regular elevator? We got all of that.
We did that
Remember we talked, I just don't remember when we still didn't finalize whether we were waiting on one more number. Any
And
questions?
this would be about us, probably up to 6 weeks lead time too. So we could do this.
it would need to be done before the elevator gets.
Yeah, I think it's something that we need to get done, and having the battery backups on the chairs would be good. Going with Ameriglide, that concerns me a little bit with not having the ability to have a service rep around, and also not including installation on their fee. They're a little over 17,000. I would lean towards Access Mobility then. That is a more local company here that would actually be able to service these if we need something.
I'm in agreement. I'll make a motion to accept the Access Mobility bid for the chair rows.
That second.
Concur. Get that signed afterwards. Take care of it.
Mark, don't you have to get
or you can go under a contract, then get approval from the county council to pay for it. I mean, ARPA, we talked about using ARPA funds to do it, but it has to be approved by the county council. So you guys can approve it, but I wouldn't sign the contract until that gets formality, but
Even if that falls through, we get paid for the coon cap, right?
unless you want to designate funds in case you're, I'm not anticipating anything happening, but that formality needs to be done first.
Okay, and that's on 16th, correct? You guys meet, that's an evening meeting.
Well, we got to appropriate funds through ARPA. It's got to be advertised before the council. So, I mean, if you got to go under contract then to get whatever you need to do, and you got to find somewhere to pay for it, that's fine, and we can reimburse it with ARPA money if it's approved, but council has to approve it.
That's fine.
Be February's meeting.
The February meeting.
That'll work. That fits within the window that we have for that price.
Okay, so as long as you don't lose out on something.
His price is good. From now, going forward, since he had that 28th with the price increase.
I mean, you can approve, you guys can approve to do it, then we can fund it.
So if you can send a copy of that to Kenny and Deanna, Melanie and I, and we can discuss that around next ARPA. And
Also, have you, the elevator, have you seen that number yet?
No, we just knew it was coming, we haven't seen the number yet.
that's the other one.
Send it to,
Same deal with that. Kill two birds with one stone.
I just say you're gonna put that on one, or you're gonna keep separate.
I think you were planning on putting it in one, unless you get better.
What's that?
The appropriation, just appropriate that in one bunch rather than.
Yeah, we
The
did
elevator
one
and material.
appropriation part of that, yes.
What's the dollar amount we need to advertise?
Whatever those are.
Yeah, we ought to have an ARPA meeting on it, and then we'll send it to them.
Well, they got to approve the bid first for the elevator, then, all right? Yeah.
That's what we were saying, I think we did that.
we did
No,
that.
you did.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
we
we
did
did
that
that
last
okay.
meeting.
So whatever
Yeah, we
those
just-
two are together.
We would just need the two and how much it is, and,
We'll have an ARPA meeting. and-
yeah, ARPA approve it, and then send it through on, advertise it, and.
No need motion in to approve this list. We done that? Got a motion
My motion, Jeremy seconded.
to, okay.
Abby, do I have a copy of those bids? Okay, what?
Just have it.
Well, I don't mean to take yours, I just,
Oh, it's all in your contract, everything.
it's easier to look at numbers than sit and listen to the.
Okay. We got that under the belt. Next thing up, I have a highway department. Latest offer purchase is $623,000. That number would then, the commissions and advertising would come out of that. Would leave us 601 and some change.
Yeah.
So we would net take over 600 if accepted. And he would like to close, it's a cash offer, January 31st. This offer would include everything that was left behind, the 4 fuel tanks, the hot oil tank, and any furniture that the highway department leaves behind, anything loose.
And the high bid, Brian, was 530.
Yes.
Correct. And that did not, your commission and the advertising fee would have still been coming out of that 530 before, correct?
Yes, correct.
So we were down lower to that little over 500 change area before, correct?
Yes.
So where I stand with the numbers now, and we had the executive session to discuss kind of where we were at. the number here is getting close to where I believe it makes sense to sell the highway garage. I've done some additional, I guess, research, review of things to go on that would have to happen to make the new highway garage feasible for not just EMA, but also a potential site for the animal shelter. The biggest impediment of actually doing those types of remodeling and improvements out there is the fact that we still have to pay for a new highway garage. We have to pay for a new highway garage that is coming in somewhere between 1.3 and 1.5 million dollars. Is that what we're gonna have to pay off, Mark? Somewhere in that ballpark. And funding for that is tight. We have some money in edit, but I don't think from our discussions that we should actually use all of that money so that we, to the point that we would deplete that fund. And if we keep the old highway garage, we can't use the funds to pay off the new highway garage, which means that the old highway garage, while we could use it potentially in the future for something else, like the animal shelter, we wouldn't have the funds to even be able to do that now. It would literally be sitting there unused or potentially unused by anyone except for EMA for storage for years until we actually pay off the new highway garage. And so if we're able to cut our debt on the new highway garage almost in half, that speeds up the timeline of being able to do other things. That's where I'm at this point. It doesn't stretch us so thin to where we have to worry about that next big thing happening here. And coming up here, $100,000 roughly from where we were before to now, that's getting to that number.
So it is more space than EMA can use, hopefully forever, because it's a lot of space. We have gotten into some more in-depth conversations about the animal shelter and possibly expanding out there and what their needs are since we started this conversation. And it's feasible to make expansions out there at much lower cost than the remodel out the other through the discussions that we've kind of had. So those are both good, positive things that's happened since we really started the conversation. Conversation with the coroner. His biggest move is for a larger cooler. It doesn't have to have one, but would like one. So those needs aren't super big. Expansion out, the annex is still a conversation that is going to come up, but it is numerous years down the road for some of that stuff. So we have a lot of the conversation or thoughts I had at the beginning of this, do we keep it or not? We've had some real good in-depth conversations on over the last 4 or 5 weeks. And I think 600, whatever thousand it is, that offer is going to be beneficial to that, making those things happen sooner rather than later.
Mark, anything?
I've always wanted to sell it. Want to hear a motion?
I go ahead and make a motion to accept the offer for $623,000 to sell the old highway garage.
I'll second.
I would concur. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Brian. Jared, thank you.
Thank you.
This what we need to sign tonight?
We could all sign on one. That would be great. Perfect. Yeah. If you don't mind, I'll come up there. That would be less agreements that had to be.
Mark here.
Yeah, still sign there. And date.
Sign here too. Get small. Just get on that line someplace.
Our attention. So that gives us just allows everything to be
Anything heavy on
My throat's not super dry and talk all much twice. Wherever you tell me to.
Yep, right there. Sign.
Now you gotta move.
we got till what, end of February?
You didn't listen very well.
Yeah.
What you don't move is there, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I think we can make that happen.
And I would note in the agreement I read that for the oil tank, or the asphalt tank, the agreement does state that you can use that until, what was that date, June?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing we have, Community Correction Advisory Board. I understand Tony wants to fill one of those spots.
I am very willing to.
Gary, you want to make a motion to that
I
effect?
can go ahead and make that motion.
And I'll second it. You're in.
Thanks, sir.
I don't think you till you've been there a while.
I'm still thanking everybody at this point. Happy to be here. Most days.
The empty one, that's a layperson.
It's just a late person.
I'm not sure, I think for the term, I think it's a 1-year term, correct? So this would be 12/31/24 expiration date. Anyone have anything else? Brian's not here under the weather. Yet, Sheriff Brad, you got anything?
News starts at 7.
I know, 10 minutes, and I can't watch it at home. Motion to recess.
So moved.
Second.
We are recessed. Thank you all for coming.
Do my best to fill that position appropriately.